I grew up in Minnesota. I'm 100% Egyptian. You know, that time of my life in my childhood, this is before the internet existed. Nobody really knew what it was like to be Egyptian, what it was like to be a Muslim, what Ramadan was. You know, everyone thought Egypt was, you know, camel jockeys and pyramids. Both of my parents got very, very sick. My mother got multiple sclerosis. My dad had ALS. And they both passed away about a year apart, about 15, 16 months apart. By not getting that job at Facebook, I ended up working for His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's office. So it worked out.
Hello and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, I'm Sheen, your host, and this is the Dream Girl podcast. Today's guest is a storytelling powerhouse. Maha Abouelenein is one of the most respected communication strategists in the world. She's the woman behind brand narratives for Google, Netflix, the Olympics, and even global icons like Gary Vee. She's also the CEO of Digital and Savvy and the best-selling author of 7 Rules of Self-Reliance. A true bridge between cultures and a mentor to so many. It is truly an honor and a pleasure to welcome Maha today on the show. I'm sure you're going to love it just as much as I did. Hello, Maha. Welcome on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I have to tell you, what a beautiful studio, and you have incredible energy. The minute I walked in, I was like, I can't wait for us to catch up.
I mean, the minute I found you online, I've been obsessed. So I can't wait. I've read your book many times as well. And
Thank you.
I hired my manager who you just met, and she told me, what shall I read as a first book? And I was like, you need to read this book.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, someone just tagged me on a post. It's at the Dubai airport. Mm-hmm. And it's it's like next to Mel Robbins and Elon Musk and Sheikh Mohammed's books. So I was like, that's so nice. And I'm so grateful for everyone who picks up a copy, who reads it, who's told me how much it's changed their lives. It really means a lot to me.
Okay, well, we'll get into that later. My first question, I found this out and I really hope it's true. Do you collect erasers?
I do.
Oh my God,
how did you get that? Wait, where did you dig to find that?
I can't even remember.
That is crazy. So I started actually collecting them when I lived here in Abu Dhabi. So I lived here in Abu Dhabi, went to school in Shoifet.
Okay.
In 1980-81, so a very long time ago. And we used to go and collect these really cool erasers, like, you know, like a little burger or little crayons or cars or Hello Kitty. Like, I have an elite eraser collection, and I have them in a bag. There was a really famous store here in the UAE in Abu Dhabi called Blue Marine.
Okay.
And I saved them in my Blue Marine bag. If anyone is an OG from Abu Dhabi, they know what Blue Marine is. And yeah, and actually one day I confessed it to my niece and nephew that I have an eraser collection. They're like, Auntie Maha, that is so weird. I'm like, no. They're so cool. I'll need to show you. And then it was like taking out all my trinkets. Wait, how did you collect? I haven't done it in years, but I have a collection.
Okay, first of all, you're going to have to send me a picture of that collection. I am obsessed. Growing up, same. My sister was like, you're a little weirdo, because I would collect them. And I got her to send me a picture. I'm going to show you mine.
How did you get that nugget of information, though?
I feel like somewhere you posted like a list of weird things about yourself.
Oh, yeah,
and
probably.
one of them was like, some
you
things
really
you don't expect about me.
Yeah.
And that screamed at me, because I was like, I've never met someone who's obsessed with erasers. I'm obsessed. I used to watch, so I grew up in Mauritius. My first language is French. I used to watch a cartoon, and they had this slap eraser, which was a lips and tongue coming out. I was like,
oh,
how do I find this?
That's a unique piece.
And I literally went to Paris many years later as a grown woman, and I went to buy it.
I've always been obsessed with stationery. So when I was younger, I started with erasers, and then it's journals. Like, I have all these, I love journals. I have all the moleskins I've ever used for the last 20 years, and I saved all of them, the black ones. I didn't do like the black and red, those notebooks.
You don't do colors, no?
No, I do the black, but no, I saved all of my journals, all my moleskins. I have all of them. And then I started just loving to collect journals in general. It's like pretty ones and wire bound and leather and yeah, and a lot of people know that I love stationery, and I'm always like, if you ever want to get me something and you're not sure what to get me, stationery is your go-to gift for me.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad we share that passion.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm so glad it's
so
true.
Fun.
We're not alone in this journey.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to have to bring you some erasers next time I see you.
I was tempted to buy one. I was like, what if that information was wrong?
No, eraser lovers unite.
Okay, perfect. So listen, Maha, I don't know how much you know of our show, but we do things a little bit differently here. So before we ask questions, I love to evoke some memory, right?
Sure, yeah.
So again, you're going to see all of our research.
Yeah.
We're going to start from the beginning. And I saw this picture
Yes.
that you posted.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you walk us through that day? What was happening on that day?
Yeah, well, she's showing a photo of my high school graduation in Minnesota. My parents were with me. My sister was obviously there too. It's like when you graduate from high school, it's the beginning of when you're going to be an adult, right? You're going to be on your own. Some people are going to go to college. Some people are going to go to technical school. Some people are going to move abroad. And it's the last time that you're in that phase of your life where you and your friends are all together. And from grade school through high school, it's an era. And when you graduate from high school, that era is ending. And, not knowing, because I grew up in Minnesota, I'm 100% Egyptian. That time of my life in my childhood, this is before the internet existed. Nobody really knew what it was like to be Egyptian, what it was like to be a Muslim, what Ramadan was. Everyone thought Egypt was, camel jockeys and pyramids and a lot of stereotypes
of course,
that I had to combat. And those were difficult years. I'm not going to say it was easy. As a teenager or in elementary school, especially, that kids didn't make fun of me. I had a very different name, Maha. I had a very long last name. The first day of school when they do roll call, the teachers would always say, like, if your name is Jennifer and you want to be called Jen, or you have a name and I say it wrong, can you help correct me? And then they would look down at the roll call sheet and see the very first name was mine because it's AB. My last name starts with AB. And then I would just be mortified because they weren't going to be able to say it. And I was so embarrassed in front of my classmates. And so I was just like, raise my hand. I'm here. I'll tell you after class, because I just didn't want to be embarrassed. And, those years growing up in the Minnesota were obviously the formative years of my life. And I was so proud to be Egyptian, but a lot of people weren't really embracing it in the same way like they do today. Like being different is cool, and being different is how you stand out. And then I learned to really embrace it myself, really understand that what made me different made me unique. And what made me different made me special. And what made me different made me somebody of value to other people. And it ended up being what I based my career on, is how do I help people in the U.S. understand how to do business with the Middle East? How do I help people in the Middle East understand how to do business with the U.S.? So what made me different growing up became my superpower as an adult. And so seeing that picture, I was like, hang on, girl, things are about to change. The other piece of the story of that picture with my parents, both of my parents got very, very sick. My mother got multiple sclerosis. My dad had ALS. And they both passed away about a year apart, about 15, 16 months apart. And in this photo, my mom was limping, but she was still functioning fully. But yeah, I mean, it's a time where you look back at your life, and I'm just full of gratitude. I'm full of all the things that I learned. I'm really grateful that stage of my life I was able to look forward and to build from there. And not knowing that I was going to be leaving the U.S. Like several years after that photo, and move back to the region and live in Egypt and live in Dubai, and ran communications and public policy here at Google and worked for the office of the ruler of Dubai. So it's always good to look back and reflect.
It is,
but more than anything, just to be grateful for where we are today and how my differences became my strength.
Absolutely. And that little Maha over there, if she were to meet you today, she would be mind blown, right?
Yeah.
She would be so excited to see everything you've achieved.
But it's also true for a lot of people listening on today's podcast. Like, you're always so involved in the moment, but you don't take time to think about the big picture of taking a step back, feeling grateful, self-reflection, thinking about your purpose and your power and your story are going to evolve when they are ready to evolve, not when you force it or when you are planning and plotting for it, because that's not really how things work out.
It's not. And we can always make plans, but life has its own plans as well.
Exactly.
So it's all about, as you said, self-reliance and also adaptability.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Very big.
Adaptability is key. Like when I look at hiring for talent in my company, or I talk to people, like you have to be willing to adapt. You have to be able to pivot, because so much of what the market is going on right now is changing. So if you need to be relevant, you have to learn how to adapt. You have to learn how to learn new things, and you have to be open to be learning new things. A big part of being adaptable is having that sense of curiosity. Like, what are you curious about? can you be curious about things other than what you already know? Don't rely on your current knowledge. Bank on investing yourself to create new ideas and new learning and new knowledge. And I think that's the difference for people who are embracing that adaptability and getting out of their comfort zone and thinking about what they could really be curious about.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And while you're talking, my brain was just running. And you mentioned pivoting, right? And
Yes.
I think now a lot of us can look at your journey and think, wow, all of these pivots made sense. It brought you to where you are today. But I'm sure when you're going through it,
Life is not
feel like
linear.
that.
Not. It looks like it was a trajectory where it was just like growth and moving. And
Yeah,
no,
well,
it was this. It was a lot of this. And then you come back down. So you do have those dips. Like I remember I was head of communications and public policy here at Google in Dubai. And when I left the company, I was going back into my own firm. I have my own communications firm. And I really, there was a job opportunity that opened up at Facebook here in Dubai. And it was going to be the same countries I oversaw for Google plus more. It was going to be Middle East, Africa, Turkey, bigger remit, bigger job, bigger money. Everything was going to be bigger and better. And I was going to go from Google to Facebook. It was going to be the dream to be the tech girl, taking on all these big countries, transforming their communications, their reputation and image. And I interviewed for the job and I didn't get it. And I really thought my life was over. I was so upset. I was like, oh my God, that is such a slap in the face. I'm such a failure. I didn't get this role. And I was pretty upset about it. And I was embarrassed. And I was so glad that I didn't get that job looking back now. Because what happened is it allowed me to go back into my company, double down on what I was really passionate about and really good at. And it opened up more opportunities for me. I ended up doing more consulting work. That's how I ended up in the office of the ruler of Dubai. By not getting that job at Facebook, I ended up working for His Highness Sheikh Mohammed's office.
Right.
So it worked out.
Yeah, and rejection is always redirection, right?
It's so true, so true. I love that actually.
Right, same. And we don't think about it in the moment when you get the rejection. You don't think, this just means something better is coming.
Something better is coming.
Right.
Every door that closes means that there's another one that's going to be meant for you that you can open.
Yeah. And I think your journey is very much proof of that, if anything. And again, now I want to go back to, I think one of the biggest pivot in your life was when you left America to move back to the region. When you moved back
I never
to Egypt.
expected I was going to be doing that.
Right. How was that? Emotionally walk us through. How did you handle that? Before we get to the rest of the episode, I just wanted to let you know that we have opened Dubai's only co-working space and podcast studio under one roof. We have this set and this set for you to choose from and customize. You can work from here or here or here, or host your event here or here. Welcome to the Pen by Marina Pearl. You can book using the link in the description box below.
Yeah, so setting the scene for everyone listening, I was 27 years old. I'm single. I'm living in the U.S. I'm not living with my parents. I live in the Twin Cities. I have a really cool job working for General Mills, one of the biggest Fortune 500 consumer packaged goods companies. They make Wheaties, Betty Crocker, Pop Secret, Cheerios, all the brands that we all know and love, food company, Nestle, Haagen-Dazs, all that kind of stuff. And my mother, because I mentioned she had multiple sclerosis, she was not well. And my dad had gotten a job opportunity to leave the U.S. after living there for nearly 40 years to come actually build the American University in Sharjah for His Highness. Yeah. So my parents said, why don't we go back to Egypt? We'll leave you and your mother in Egypt. I'll go to Sharjah and build a university. And we're going to go to Egypt. And of course, I was going to go with them because I was taking care of my mother. I was going to let my dad do that by himself. And so living in the U.S. my whole life, born and raised there, 27 years old, that was my life. I picked up and left with my parents. And I moved to Egypt. I don't speak Arabic. I don't have any friends. I don't have a network. I don't know really anybody. I'm taking care of my disabled mother. My dad leaves me and goes to Sharjah to build a university. I'm all by myself in Egypt, in Cairo, trying to find a job. I wanted to get a job like at P&G or Pepsi or Coca-Cola, like a consumer package company like General Mills, something I could be familiar with.
A lateral move, yeah.
And also like a U.S. company, so I can feel in familiar territory of working for an American company with American values and American, ways of working. That's what I thought at the time. And I couldn't find a job. I couldn't land anything. And the only job that I could find was I got offered to be a secretary and office manager for a big businessman in Egypt, Naguib Sawiris.
Yeah.
And he was the telecoms guru, had Moby Neal, and was really the godfather of tech in the region, and offered me to be his, a secretary, office manager. And I was like, I don't think I'm qualified for that job. I'm overqualified. I don't think I want to be an assistant. Really thought like I have my master's degree. I was just so stupid, actually, now that I think about it, that like no job is beneath you. No title is beneath you. You need to put your head down. And my dad, I went home that night and I said, Dad, I got offered this job and it's really not what I want to do. And I didn't come here to do this. I had a great job in the U.S. and now I kept taking a step back in my career. And he looked at me and he gave me advice. And he said, listen, you just moved here and you don't know anybody. This is a really good opportunity for you to learn about how the business community works, how Egyptian companies work. When are you ever going to sit next to a chairman, a billionaire in his office and learn from him? The access that you're going to get from being close to someone, close to the sun like that is unprecedented. And you're going to be lucky to work for him. And if I were you, I would go tomorrow and take this job before they offer it to somebody else. And, I was angry because I did not agree with his strategy.
We have ego right at that
I was
age.
like, that is terrible advice, Dad. Like, he's like, you should take this job. And the next day, much to my reluctance, like I did not want to do this against every ounce in my body. And my dad said, you should do this. And so the next day I went and accepted the job. And it ended up being the best thing that ever happened to me.
Wow.
I put my head down. I learned a lot. I built relationships. I was like, I want to be a pleasure to work with. I want to really learn how to bring value to him. I need to learn the ins and outs of what does a chairman's office do? Like it was extraordinary in so many ways. I grew so much. I built obviously a really good relationship with him. And it taught me that you need to really focus on how do you create value for other people? It's one of the rules of the book. How do you learn how to build really good relationships and learn how to network? Again, another rule in the book. And that's where I learned a lot about self-reliance, that I can actually control my future and my destiny if I'm willing to put in the work. Am I willing to learn how to be valuable to others? Am I willing to learn how to be a good relationship, build good relationships with others? Am I willing to invest in my reputation? Because when you do, all good things will come from it. And you don't realize how important your reputation is until you need it to open doors for you, to get you jobs, to get you recommended, to get you opportunities, to get you promotions, to get you more money. And again, that's another rule in the book of I teach people how to build their personal brands, because I feel like, especially when you think of today's world, AI, cancel culture, AI slop, whatever everyone's calling it, people are having a hard time trust what's out there. And so you need to make sure that you're being on the forefront of building that trust with other people, building those relationships, building connections before you need them. So that's a lot about what I learned in that process, and ended up moving to the U.S., taking that job, and spending 23 years in the region.
Wow. Well, see, Maha, every time you're giving me an answer, you're giving me 17 questions.
Sorry about that.
No, but that's amazing. And I'm going to start with the last part, which is my favorite rule is the one about your reputation is your currency, which is exactly what you're talking about. And before I read this, I hadn't realized that this is exactly how, these are the words in how I can phrase how I see building reputation.
100%.
Right? Because a lot of the questions I get, people always ask me, why do you have so many friends? How do you have a big network? And then I never know how to give advice in terms of networking because I just give value. I never think, how can I benefit from this person?
That's key.
Right.
That is key. Don't be about transactions. Everybody's like, I'm going to do a favor for them, but then I want something.
Correct.
Or I'm not going to introduce them because then what if they do business without me? Or what's in it for me? Why should I do that? The reason you should do all of those things, make introductions for other people, give value for free, is to build and what I call put a deposit in someone's trust bank. That's building your reputation. That's building goodwill. That's building a reputation worth mentioning, a name worth recommending. That's what, a lot of my career has been based on me not doing transactions. Everybody's in a hurry. They just want to like give to take. And I don't do that. And I will relentlessly, obnoxiously go to degrees to give value to someone just because I want them to know that's who I really am. Her intentions are good. She's not looking for something. And when you continue to put deposits in multiple people's trust banks, imagine the life you are living and how many people you've built as support for you. So if one day you want to make a withdrawal, you can. That's what I'm trying to do. Like, even with my team and my company, I'm really trying hard to make sure like I'm giving them, I'm teaching them, I'm educating them, I'm making them a better version of themselves so that when they learn how to lead or they learn how to manage or they learn how to solve a problem, they can pay it forward to somebody else.
See, now I'm going to be a little bit of a devil's advocate.
Okay.
So I love this. And I'm the same. I'm very similar to you. I try my best. But I'm sure for you, it's even another level. But even me at this level where we're at, you do get people who will then abuse that
Take
a little
advantage,
bit, right?
Of course.
So then how do you protect yourself from that as well?
Okay, you protect yourself in a couple of ways. One is it's like a muscle. You need to learn how to develop it. Your radar, your spidey senses, your gut will tell you if someone's riding you and taking advantage, or if this is someone who's genuinely a good person that I should really invest in. So you don't do it for everybody, number one. Number two, it's a time thing. It's not a transaction thing. So what I mean by that is spend a lot of time with someone before you can understand what do they care about so you know how you can add value to them and know how you can make a deposit in their trust bank. Because you will have good judgment. If I spend a lot of time with you, I will know what you care about. I will know your personality. I will know the investment that I want to make in this relationship and what is the best way to give you the benefit from that. And I feel like people are smarter than they give themselves credit for. If you're like, my gut feels off that I shouldn't help this person because I feel like I'm going to get a run for my money and they're going to use me, you'll know.
Yeah.
But the more you spend time trying to do the right thing by others, you'll really understand who and how to carry that out in a way that's consistent with your values.
And now in terms of, obviously, the book talks a lot about self-reliance. And
yes.
I love that. But do you also feel like maybe now becoming in a world where we're all isolated from each other to a point where, with social media, the rise of loneliness has come through. And now with this idea of self-reliance as well, does that mean that then we will be too scared to ask for help? Hey dreamers, quick pause from the convo. If you are wondering what the Dreamers Digest is, it's my exclusive online community where I share behind the scenes goodies, lessons from building this podcast, and all the juicy stuff that never makes it to the final cut. If you're not in it yet, check the link in the show notes and come join us. It's 100% free. Also, shocking fact, 89% of you watching this on YouTube right now are not even subscribed. Wild, right? So if that's you, go ahead and hit that button. It would mean the world to me. And now, super exciting news. We launched the Podcast Academy. This is where I've poured everything I've learned from taking this show to 150 million views and turning it into a real business. It's 10 powerful modules packed with tools to help you launch, grow, and actually monetize your podcast. You'll even get the chance to submit your episode for personal feedback from me and my team. If you've been thinking about starting a show or scaling the one you already have, this is your sign. Click the link in the description box below to learn more. Now, back to the episode.
No, so the concept of self-reliance in my book is not about not needing other people or doing things by yourself. In fact, the book is all about the opposite. And I want you to go ask for help. I want you to team up with others. I want you to work and build bridges and relationships with others. But before you do that, I want you to invest in yourself first. If you want to be valuable to other people, you must first be of value. So what are you doing to invest in yourself? What are you doing to work on your networking skills? What are you doing to work on your public speaking skills? What are you doing to work on your reputation and your personal brand? You need to work on those things before you go out to the world to work with others or to collaborate with others or even to ask for help. That's what the book is about. I give you the tools you need to be valuable to others.
Okay, I love that. Okay, Now we'll come back to the book.
Yes.
But for now, you mentioned people a lot,
Yes.
right? And of course, you run businesses across the world. You have so many teams.
Yeah.
And I love how often you post pictures with your team as well of you guys doing fun
and
stuff.
we make fun videos.
Right.
Next week, we're doing an offsite together. So I'm really excited about that team building, and we're going to make a lot of TikToks.
See, like there's so much fun going on. But what do you think makes you stand out as a leader? What is your approach to leadership when you're managing teams?
First of all, I learned a lot about this from Gary Vee. So we were actually just talking about it in the car yesterday. A couple things. One, make your employees feel safe to come to you if they have a problem, or feel safe about their career or what they're struggling with. So that's number one.
Mm-hmm.
I think secondly is like, I'm really about two things: over communicating and accountability. Like over communicating. So clearly tell someone your expectations, ask for their commitment, and then hold them accountable. And I feel as a leader, my job isn't to do their jobs for them. My job is just to give them the skills, the resources, the training, and then trust them.
Mm-hmm.
It's about training them and then trusting them. They're going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they learn. And that you shouldn't go in and swoop and save them. It's just like raising your children. Like if you want accountable children, hold them accountable. You want independent children, give them independence. It's the same thing at work. You need to give them the opportunity to make mistakes so they can learn, so they don't do it again. Mm-hmm. And when they need help with something, I don't go and do it for them. I give them suggestions, or I hold a mirror to them. Like, what do you think about this? So that they can think through the process and get to the conclusion their own. That'll give them confidence. Mm-hmm. That'll allow them to solve the problem themselves. And it gives them the feeling, that they have my support, but that I don't want them to depend on me. I want them to be able to be problem solving on their own, because that'll give them the ability to do that at scale.
I love that. But then how do you choose people who join your team? What do you look for?
Yeah, I mean, it's a process. Like I just hired somebody who started a couple weeks ago. Yeah. I mean, we've hired like 4 people in the last 6 months, new people that came onto the team. Mm-hmm. And it's just always, first of all, I want to spend a lot of time with them.
Right.
Like hours. Mm-hmm. Like not a 1-hour interview, not a 30-minute interview. I spend a couple hours here, a couple hours. Like I need to spend time with them, right? Okay. And I don't just talk to them about their professional skills or their work credentials. I really don't. I really want to get to know them, like what makes them tick. What are the things that are important to them in their personal lives? What hobbies and habits do they have? Because a person shows up as a whole person, not like work person and at home person, right? Mm-hmm. So I need to know. So I'll ask them specific questions like, how will I know when you're stressed? How do you show up when you're stressed? Well, I go inward, or I don't talk to anyone, or I start to get anxiety, or I'll be frantic, or like I want to know what are the things that I need to be aware of. So I ask a lot of questions like that. I'm looking at their skill set and their mindset more than what was your last title? What's your degree? Yeah. I had to really unlearn how I look at talent and really think about the whole person. And, if somebody's a rock star, super smart, really a go-getter, delivers results, but doesn't fit my culture or my values, they're a no-go right away. And I always think like they have to be kind. They have to be empathetic. They have to be willing, and this is something we're going through now, willing to admit that if you make a mistake, not be like defensive and defending it, but like, listen, like I messed up. Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes. Yeah. So just teaching them that it's okay to say it. And it's okay to not feel like you have all the answers. I certainly don't have all the answers. And I'm the CEO and founder of the company. Like so many times I don't know the answers to things. But then what do? Lean in, ask my team, ask for help, get questions, do more research, put in more effort. Nobody knows the answers and nobody's perfect, not even leaders of companies. Yeah. So we don't expect our employees to be either.
And you mentioned culture, and I think I read somewhere that you said you don't set the culture of the team, you let the team set the culture.
Yeah, like I want them to embrace it. I want them to find the fun. I want them to pace like the ideas that they see would help them. Like, why not? Like I said, I don't have all the answers. I don't want to be a dictator. I want them to, we spend so many hours at work, right? So I want them to enjoy their teammates. I want them to enjoy the process of how we come together formally and informally. So one of the things we do at work is we do war rooms, where it's basically everyone jumps on the call at the same time and works on a project together because we are 100% remote and people might work on different accounts or clients. So how can we get that collaboration together? What are we doing on Slack? Are we sharing memes? Like just finding ways for them to have fun in their own way and making them feel that they are a part of not just building the culture, but keeping it alive and shaping it and changing it and adding to it.
So you see, Maha, when you talk about work, I see the spark in your eyes, right? And I can tell that you really love what you're doing.
Love.
And your type of work has evolved over time. Your role has evolved over time. Now that you're the CEO and founder and you still have so many active roles, what do you enjoy the most?
Honestly, I enjoy working with my team a lot.
Yeah?
Like, I feel like, obviously, I'm very grateful for my clients, and I love my clients and the variety of things that we get to do. But it's who you're in the bunker with that matters the most. And so it's like I have to really enjoy that part of the process because I don't have a big company. I have 8 people or so. Like I'm not 30,000 or 100 people. No, and I don't even actually have the ambition to do that. No.
We don't need it.
I don't want it. Like I never wanted to run. When I lived here in Dubai and I was the managing director of Weber Shandwick, I mean, we had thousands of employees and it's a big operation. And I just I didn't enjoy it as much as I do having a smaller team, cohesive unit, talk to each other, get to know them. I intimately know what's going on with them. And that matters to me. And it's like, I think the older you get, the more insular you become. You want your circle to be smaller, your close-knit people around you. And that goes for me as well at work.
Now, another thing, Maha, I've been stalking you the past few days, but I feel I'm so happy to see how loud you are about the team's accomplishments and your own accomplishments.
Yes.
And usually you see women shy away from talking about what they've achieved. And if you do, then it comes across a certain way. And, also people from this region are scared of the evil eye.
Yeah.
But how do you approach sharing your accomplishments?
Yeah, it's not, first of all, I love to dab up my team because I can't do what I do if I didn't have a really good team.
Correct.
Like for me to be in Dubai, Abu Dhabi for 8 or 9, 10 days out of the office, it's 8 hours. I'm not sitting in front of my computer helping them or my clients. So I think that's a huge props to them. Like they help me be able to do what I do. Secondly, I feel like when you're thinking about the clients and the business and how you want to really grow and scale your company, you have to figure out what are the areas of the business that you're passionate about. What are the things that you feel like you can give the most to? Like, where could my thumb on the scale make the biggest difference? And so I think a lot about that when I'm looking at the makeup of the clients that I want and how I want to build and grow my business. I always think about what matters for my team and also what matters for my clients. Now, to answer your question about just speaking up and talking about your accomplishments and women and all this kind of stuff, we have a voice. We should use it. If you're proud of what you do, it might inspire others to start talking about what they do and what they care about. And I don't think it as self-promotion. I think of it as idea promotion. And I always put content out there, especially on my social, that I can be valuable for other people. And, somebody yesterday said to me, I run into them at this event yesterday and said, okay, you did this post about don't follow your mood, follow your plan. Because so much about if I'm not in a good mood, I won't do it. I'm like, well, if you're not in a good mood, you're never going to do it, right? Don't follow your mood, follow your plan. And they're like, that really hit me. And that, that was the message I needed to hear that day. And so that's why I do it. That's why I put the content out, because I want people to understand, I have bad days. I have days where I'm like, okay, I'm really struggling to keep it together. I'm human. I'm like you. Everybody has those days. That's one of actually the rules of the book of stay low, keep moving, keep moving despite it. But I feel like for any women out there, they're like, I don't want to talk about myself. They're like, it's not about you. It's about the value you're bringing for your audience. It's about the information you're sharing that might make a difference for them. It's that little nugget of inspiration or education that might get them to do something they hesitated to do that day. That's why I do it.
But you see, I think a lot of people, they misunderstand. For example, when you say stay low and keep moving, they think that stay low means I don't need to tell people what I'm doing.
Yeah, stay low doesn't mean stay low profile.
Yeah.
It means stay low and stay focused. Yeah, like how can you, because there's so many distractions. You're distracted by social media. You're distracted by what your friends are doing. You're distracted by obligations, family obligations, friend obligations, things that you must do. But if you just keep saying yes to everything, you're never going to accomplish your goals. And so how could you be focused? How could you say no at least once a week? It's hard to do. But, even I was talking to someone this morning about like, I could take on that project or I can say no and do this other thing that I really want to get done.
Okay.
You have to make those trade-offs. You have to think of priorities. You have to say no to things in order to say yes to the things that matter the most for you, especially on the long term.
See, now I'm going to ask a question for myself.
Yes.
When you say no to certain things, this is something I'm struggling with right now.
Why?
Because with new businesses and everything, I think anything could be an opportunity.
Yeah, but that's if you say yes to everything.
Right.
That's not good.
It's not good, right?
That's not good.
So how do you I guess that's up to me.
No, it's not about how you prioritize. So
Yeah.
I always think about trade-offs. Like,
Okay.
right? Like if I could spend a week in Dubai versus a week at home, what are the trade-offs I'm making? Obviously,
Right.
I'm out of my routine. I'm not working out the way I used to. I'm not eating my home-cooked meals. I'm eating
Not
on the
sleeping
road.
well. Yeah.
The sleep is going to be disrupted. There are trade-offs for me to spending that week here in the UAE, right?
Correct.
But then I always look at the long-term benefits, like relationships I want to keep, clients I want to talk to, media I want to be a part of. Like there's always thinking of those through. So if I'm saying yes to coming to Dubai every week, every month, that obviously I can't sustain that. But I feel like you need to always think about the long-term benefits of some of your decisions. And it's hard to say no. But why don't you try it and tell me how it goes?
Yeah.
Say no to a social obligation or a Friday brunch or a Sunday brunch. Like the things that you maybe eat a lot of time that like I don't have to go to every one. Maybe I can go to every 3.
Yeah, actually I have a wedding this weekend, 3 days, and I was thinking I can sack off one of the days at least just for me to rest. So maybe I'll start with that.
Yes.
Right.
And prioritizing yourself
Correct.
and doing less and like just like thinking of the toll it takes on your body and out of your routine. And, so it makes, for me, I have to plan more. So I'm like, I look at my schedule, making sure I'm getting my workouts in, packing my vitamins and my supplements with me to make sure I stay on schedule. So it just requires a little bit of planning and effort. But I still do it because it's at the end of the day, I don't want to have 8 days where I didn't work out or 8 days where I didn't take my vitamins or 8 days where I didn't get my sleep or 8 days where I didn't do my meditation. So I'm always thinking about planning ahead and looking at those trade-offs. So stay low means stay focused, but please try saying no and let me know how it goes.
I will. And someone else gave me the tips of doing an audit of where your time is spent every day.
Yeah, I mean, I have on my calendar, I look at my calendar and I'm like, Wednesdays are no meeting Wednesdays. I'm not doing meetings with anybody. It's my day to think, to do my deep work, to do thinking, to catch up, to call people on the phone. Yeah, old school phone calls.
I too.
Yeah, like that's the day I do my focused work. Or if I need to talk to my team, I know nobody's in meeting, so we can all jump on a call and talk about something. But you have to think about your schedule because a day, a week, a month, a year will go by and you didn't even protect it.
Correct. This year's just flown by and I was just like, oh, we need to plan 2026 better.
Yes.
Listen, Maha, another thing. So for a lot of us, we look at you and we see, very successful journey. But one thing I want to ask is, was there any big prices that you had to pay to be here today?
Of course. Nobody has a big successful journey. Nobody.
Right.
Nobody. So many things I sacrificed in my life. My mom and dad were sick for several years. I was their caretaker for many years until I was 36, 37 years old. That was difficult, taking care of 2 parents, making all their medical decisions. There was a price to pay for that on my personal life and my story. Things got delayed. I didn't get to do a lot of things I wanted to do till later in life, which was fine now looking back. But yeah, I mean, just like everyone else. You get fired from jobs, you lose friends, people use you, people betray you. I've had all of it. All of it. I actually write about quite a bit of it in the book, some of my failures and some of the difficult times that I faced. So, but the thing is, you just got to get it back on the horse and go the next day. You really have to just really try to pick yourself up because everybody's going through something.
Yeah.
So making sure you have a lot of good friends around you or good family members around you, or a way for you to cope with your stress. Is that working out? Is that crushing a tennis ball? Is that, doing breath work? Is it trying to find the things that can get you through life and to help you stand on your feet a little bit better today than you did yesterday?
You talked about losing friends. This
Yes.
is a topic that comes out a lot on the show, and it's something I've started to experience. But how do you deal with it?
Actually, it's funny. When I was at this event in Abu Dhabi Bridge Summit, there was someone in my career who betrayed me very, 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 very badly. And I hadn't seen that person since yesterday, since that event. And that was it's happened like 10 years ago or something.
Oh, wow.
And that person went out of his way to come talk to me and say hello to me and with other people. And I was kind of like, I'm not really going to go there.
Good.
But because I was just like, it's over. It's water under the bridge. But he came up to me and talked to me for quite a bit. And I did talk to him and stuff like that. But it's like carrying that burden and resent. And it's like such a waste of time.
Yeah, it's not needed.
It's
you
not
can
needed.
forgive, but you don't forget, right?
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
it's just
Protect
like,
your
fine.
peace.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, so that betrayal happens. And it's just like, maybe a year after it happened, I probably would have never spoken to him or like wanted to have anything to do with him. But now I'm just like, he made mistakes probably in his life and probably regrets what he did. And I don't hold it against him, but I just feel like you need to be at a good place in your life where you can not walk around with that, because that's not necessary.
Absolutely. But how do you also now decide who gets access to your inner circle?
I mean, I think we're all good at that judgment barrier of like knowing who are the people that you really want to see in your life. The positive people I want to be around me, the people who support me and love me and unconditionally. And I think, you know your circle, and you know the people that you want to spend time with, that bring you joy, that bring you happiness. And they talk so much about the importance of longevity for your life.
Right.
Is not anything but having really meaningful relationships.
Yeah, I know. But I don't know. See, maybe it's my naivete, but I think recently I've started to notice people that I've known for a while who, were rooting for me. But then when good things happen, they're not really the loudest supporters.
Yeah, well, those aren't the people you need in your life.
Right. Then it's a bit like the shedding happens, but it's also a bit sad.
It is sad.
Right.
Of course. Losing any friendship is not good, or having someone betray you doesn't feel good at all, because we want to trust people. We want to believe in the best in people. We want to be optimists, not pessimists. And that glass has to be half full at all times. But everybody's in different paths and states in their lives. Like, people who make negative comments on social media, they're probably in a bad place in their life where they feel that that's okay to do that. Even though it may seem harmless, it really might hurt the feeling of the person who reads it. And so you have to think about, how is my act, might impact other people, and how can you try to spend less time hurting people and more time trying to be kind to others.
Yeah, at the end of the day, all we can control is what we do, right?
Yeah,
and our reaction
100%.
to things. And I love that you mentioned tennis.
Yes.
Because, again, I found this picture.
Oh, wow. What? There's a lot in there. I want to see what's in there.
I found this picture.
Oh, my God, that's hilarious.
And I love this picture. You just look so happy there. Tell us, where did the love for tennis come from?
So growing up, my parents used to always take us to the U.S. Open tennis tournament. We always used to make a family vacation, go to New York, back to school vibes, go to the tennis tournament. I played in high school. I was not that great when I was in junior high, and then I played better in high school. But I love the game. I love to watch tennis. I love to be on the tennis court. I love to hit the ball. It is one of my stress relieves. I try to play all year round. I live in Minnesota now, so it's winter, so there's indoor courts. And I love still going to the tennis tournaments and enjoying the sport with my family and friends. It is such a good sport for your brain. It is one of the top sports for mental health that help your brain stay rewired, and they did a lot of research on it. So like that hand-eye coordination of playing tennis. So I'm like, another reason to love the game. Plus, I love the outfits. I love the looks. Like, tennis is my jam. Yeah, it's a vibe.
It's a whole vibe.
And it's like super in now, like the whole tennis look, the tennis chic.
Oh, yeah.
The tennis, I'm like.
For Wimbledon, everyone has a new bag.
Yeah. And like Lululemon did this huge thing at the US Open last year. Like, I'm here for all of it.
I love that. Have you tried paddle?
I played paddle and pickleball.
Okay.
Both.
But do you like them as much as tennis or no?
No, tennis is my first
tennis
love.
is the babe.
My first love.
Obviously the book.
Yes.
I'll just show it to you because I have one more picture.
Okay.
But I don't know if this
I want all these pictures.
I love it. I just think it evokes a little bit of emotion.
Yeah, I
Tell
love
me,
it.
the first day you held the copy of the book, how did that feel?
I cried.
Yeah?
I was like, I've always wanted to write a book, but I never knew what I was going to write a book about. And, I thought a lot about, my career. Is that interesting to teach people about communications? Should I talk about growing up Muslim in America, then moving back to the Middle East, and then kind of reverse culture shock, and then taking care of my parents? I really was thinking, like, I don't know what I write the book about. And I had written a book proposal many years ago and went to several publishers, and everyone rejected me. They're like, nobody combines personal and professional in a book. It's either a biography or a business book. You don't combine them. And I'm like, well, then if you knock on that door and they didn't open it, then that was not my door. And so I parked the whole idea of doing a book for several years. And then I said, like, you know what? I'm not going to let this year finish till I write this book proposal, till I get it out. And when I held it in my hands, first of all, I love yellow. It's bright, it's sunny, it's warm, it invokes happiness. And 7 is my birthday. My birthday's on the 7th. 7 is my favorite number. When I wrote the book, serendipitously, the top ideas that came to me to share with others was 7 ideas, which ended up being the 7 rules. So I'm very proud of it. It is a best-selling book. And everyone who reads it and writes me a note or gives me a review or sends me a message, it's the most rewarding feeling ever. And I'm so grateful for everyone who's picked up a copy or listened to it, because listening to an audiobook is reading a book. So thank you for bringing that up.
No, of course. And can I just ask, was any of the chapters challenging for you to write?
I think rule number 7 was the hardest. It's the story where I talk about living with no regrets, even though it's so easy to say, live with no regrets. But I think everything that happens to you is what builds your character and helps you get through the next challenge or the next fight that you're going to face in your life. And it's the chapter where I talk a lot about the caretaking I had to do for my parents and losing them about 15, 16 months apart, which was difficult. It's difficult to write. And if you listen to the audiobook, you'll hear I kind of tear up a bit when I'm telling that story, but I'm really proud of it.
As you should be. Honestly, I love the book.
Thank you.
And I think, Maha, final question for everybody listening today, for me as well. If you were to think of yourself a little bit earlier in the journey as an entrepreneur when you were starting out, what would you have wanted to know back then that you can also tell us now?
Take it easy. Take it easy. Like, I used to get so wound up about so much stuff because I was like, you can't control every outcome. You really need to focus on, what do I know? How can I win the day? How can I take care of myself today? How can I be the most valuable today? How can I tell the best story today? How can I nurture the best relationship today? How can I bring values to others today? One day at a time. Don't think about next week, next month. Think about what you can do to deliver results consistently by starting with today.
Amazing. And what's next for Maha?
Hopefully another book. And I'm doing a lot of like coaching and workshops and stuff. So I'm trying to scale my stuff to more consumers.
Amazing.
So if anyone's interested,
where can people find out more about
we're
this?
going to be putting a bunch of stuff up on my website, mahaabouelenein.com.
We'll put it in the description box.
Thank you.
But Maha, this was such a pleasure.
2026, everyone invest in your personal brand.
Yes.
Your reputation is all that matters.
I love that. Thank you so much, Maha.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you.